Sex fools, little children, and ships named Enterprise.
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at one of the first figures from the new Super 7 Ultimates Star Trek The Next Generation line. Now, I have always been a fan of Star Trek. You may have guessed that from my name, Scorp1701, and I remember watching reruns of the original series with my dad growing up, watching TNG, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. I did go off to college, got a little busy, didn't catch much of Enterprise. Star Trek Discovery didn't interest me much. I did love the Picard show, and Star Trek Brave New Worlds is very good so far. So you can see there's been a lot of Star Trek out there. So I am very happy that Super 7 has picked up the license for the TNG characters, and I don't think we've had figures of this caliber since Art Asylum put theirs out years ago. So let's take a look at it. So starting off, it is in a standard sized Ultimates box. You do have a nice star field here, a very cool Star Trek Delta, and you have ages 14 plus. You have Riker, Super 7. On the top of the box, you have Ultimates. Nothing on the left side of the box, nothing on the right side of the box. On the bottom, you do have some credits for the box and a barcode. And coming around to the back of the box, you have the classic Star Trek The Next Generation logo. You have contents, one figure with accessories, Star Trek Universe logo, and Super 7. Now, coming around, this is a slipcover. And when you lift it up, you can actually see the figure in the box. And there is Commander Riker, and that is very, very nice. I love how he looks in the box. You have ages 14 plus, Super 7 now appearing. You have Riker and his accessories. You have Star Trek The Next Generation. Riker is still there. And nothing changes on the left side of the box. Nothing changes on the other side of the box. On the top of the box, you still have Ultimates. The bottom is the same. Coming around to the back, you have a very nice read-up of Commander Riker. So let me zoom in so we can get a cool look at that. Nice artwork there. Some nice Star Trek-y screens. And let us zoom in. You can pause the video here and read that to your heart's content, but we must be moving on and outward. And that is Commander Riker in the box. But I don't want to see the Commander in the box. I know you don't. So let's get him out and see what he can do. And here we have Commander Riker out of the packaging. And out of the packaging, he stands approximately 7¼ inches tall. And he comes with a lot of cool accessories that we'll take a look at in just a moment. But first off, I want to take a look at the Commander himself. And coming real close in on Commander Riker's head, you can see they did a good job. It's, I think, always difficult to translate a real person into a action figure form. The photoreal technology is there, but I'm not sure they used it here. But for the most part, taking a look at the profile, you can kind of see Jonathan Frakes in there some places, and in other places it's not as apparent. But for the most part, if you were to look at this guy and say, yeah, that's Commander Riker, he has a nice full head of hair. His eyes are nice. I got a little scuff mark on my nose there. I'm not sure what that's from, but oh well, it's not too bad, I guess. Nice beard, nice lips, ears molded in very nicely. Coming around to the back, got a nice sculpted head, so I like that. And let's go back to the front and zoom out a little bit so we could take a look at his uniform. And they could always do a lot of things with Starfleet uniforms and the TNG. There was a couple options they could give us. They changed the uniforms a few times. In the first season, they had those little stripes on the top. The second season was pretty much the same. Just a couple of characters changed uniform colors. And then in the third season, they stuck with these high-collared uniforms, which I thought was pretty nice. And taking a look at the uniform itself, zooming back into the collar, you can see there's some nice red around the collar. And you can see Commander Riker's 3 command pips there, so that is nice. Coming down, you do have his comm badge here. and it's done okay. You can tell that it wasn't done in a solid piece, so that kind of makes it look a little off. Instead of just going straight across, you know, you have some indentions there where the circle part is and behind the delta. And for the most part, that's it. You got your color, which is command red, and the black of the uniform, which comes down to the legs. And I really like it. It's basically not much you could do with the uniform, and as long as you have that, I think it's good. You have long cuffs, and that is pretty neat. Cuffs go down right above the palm, and the bottom of the leg cuffs, they are down a little low too, but he comes down to some nice shiny boots. That's really nice. And on the bottom of the feet, you have some peg holes coming around to the back. Nothing that you wouldn't expect from the Starfleet uniform there. So yeah, I think he looks really good, and definitely what Commander Riker should look like. All right, moving on. And for our articulations, starting at the head, Commander Riker's head can go around 360 degrees. It can look up a little bit, it can look down a little bit. You do get a little wiggly waggly, so that is pretty neat. Coming to the shoulders, shoulders can come up from the body, then back down. They can go around 360 degrees. You do have a separate piece for a bicep rotation, 360 degrees there. Coming down to a elbow bend, not exactly 90 degrees, so it's a little short, but it is built into a forearm rotation, 360 degrees there. Coming down to your hand, this particular hand can rotate 360 degrees, and it can hinge up and down. Now, the problem you're going to run into is I think the cuff is too big or long. The hand is going to have some trouble moving because it's kind of in the cuff. You can't bring it out of the cuff because that will bring the hand out of. So, it's going to be kind of iffy to get it and move it, but you can do it. So, yeah. All right. Coming to the center of the body, you do have waist articulation, 360 degrees for that. You can kind of move the body as an ab crunch down and up, left and right. Now, a little bit of wiggly waggly there. Your pants are kind of interesting because the uniform pants is cut to this high plastic piece for the midsection, and that keeps the main abdomen in there, so it's kind of weird, but it works, I guess. Coming down to the legs, legs can go up, not too far, and back, again, not too far because the butt gets in the way. You do have kind of a little bit of thigh rotation left and right. Can't go all the way around, but that's okay. Coming down, you do have a slight knee bend, and that's worse than the elbow, so there's not really a lot of bend there, so bring that back up. But that is built in like the elbow into like a lower leg rotation, 360 degrees around, so that is good. Coming down to your foot, and the foot is hinged, so it can go and kind of go up, and it can go down, and you can kind of rock it around 360 degrees like such. And that's pretty much it with what you could do with it. But again, like the hand, the foot, I think, would have had more mobility if the bottom of the pants wouldn't have covered it as much. But that's how they designed the figure, and that's what we got to deal with. All right, moving on. And coming to accessories, the first accessory we're going to take a look at is Commander Riker's alternate head, and it's basically the same head, except now he's smiling and he's happy, and it's a really nice head, mostly because I don't have a little scuff on the nose, so it doesn't look weird. And yeah, it's nice paint, again, nice head of hair, ears, beard, everything you need for a happy Riker face. And it looks good on him, so he can walk around the ship and be happy. All right, moving on. And coming to Commander Riker's alternate hands, he has a pair of relaxed hands. These are very nice. They are what he comes equipped with in the box. And they are just your standard hands, and he could just be calm and collected with them. Commander Riker also comes with a pair of grabby hands or gripping hands, and he can hold various things with these, and one of the things he can hold is a deck of cards. And take a closer look at the deck of cards. It is really nicely done. You have this nice little back design here. Very cool. It is molded to the point where you can actually see that there is a lot of ridges in here to represent the individual cards, so that is neat. And when we come to the back of the card, for the bottom card, we have the Ace of Ten of Diamonds. I have no idea what this is or what it represents. I don't think that this was ever shown in the series, or if there was a special card or a trick card for it, but obviously it's got the Ace of Diamond symbol in the corners, but there are 10 diamond spots on the card, which means it should be a 10. So I don't know. It's kind of a combination of both. I don't know why it's like that, but for the most part, it's okay. And I like that it's a deck of cards, and you could just hold it like this if that freaks you out. All right. He also has a single hand that is holding a suit of cards. And taking a closer look at this hand holding the poker cards, you can see that Riker is holding the Royal Flush of Spades, and that is the highest poker hand that you could ever get, so that is pretty neat. Why they're not in order, I have no idea, but you know, normally your flush would go Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10, but they're all there, so it all counts. So, and as an interesting little thing, I'm not sure this is supposed to happen, but these cards can actually come out because of the glue or the paint on the inside of the fingers. Kind of makes me think that they're not supposed to, but you know, just as kind of messing around with them to see if they could come out, yeah, they came out, and it's very easy to slide them back in there. So I don't know, it's not broken, I don't think. I think it's supposed to be that way, and maybe you could just use the hand as something else if you have a single card or something that comes with another character, but who knows. But anyway, that is your hand holding cards. He comes with a set of hands that, in my opinion, are well placed on his trombone. And taking a good look at this trombone, you can see they did a very excellent job in replicating a trombone. Now, this is very frail, and I think if you put too much pressure on it, it will snap because it doesn't feel very solid. It is, in my opinion, a red plastic that is painted gold, because if you look at the back of the trombone here in this little section, you can see some of the paint has already wore off and it's kind of red, and then you got the gold chrome kind of peeking out there. But this is really a cool accessory. It doesn't move, it's a single piece, so don't try to rack the slide or anything. And it also comes with a very cool little trombone mute, and this is really nicely sculpted and molded, and it fits right down into the horn as it should, and that kind of makes the trombone make different sounds and such. And so yeah, this is really cool, and Riker, with a little bit of finagling, can hold this, and it looks pretty good. So whatever you do, just be careful how you store this, because again, it feels like it's very fragile. And finally, he comes with a phaser holding hand, and that is really neat. And taking a closer look at the phaser holding hand, it is very nicely molded, and you can see it is specifically for the phaser. The thumb comes right up there on the phaser button, and it's just really nice. And we could take this out, take a closer look at the phaser itself. Wow, this is a very excellent sculpted phaser. This is the Type 2 phaser. This didn't come around till like the 3rd season, I think. They redesigned the phaser, because the first you had this really big, wide white one, which kind of looked dumb, but then they came up with this one, and it's really nice. You have a nice black barrel there, nice readout, a little green screen. You got the setting buttons, gold, which is right above the fire button, and that is nice. Some very good silver paint, and you have the handle detail right there. It's really nicely done. And on the back you get some details for the phaser. Wow, such a small accessory, but a lot of great detail in here. And obviously Riker can hold this and he can shoot things. Wouldn't have minded a little blast effect coming out the end of the phaser, but who knows, maybe they'll give us something like that down the road. All right, and those are Commander Riker's alternate hands and a few of his accessories. Moving on. And Riker's final accessory is this little doll of Captain Picard. Bears a striking resemblance. You agree, number one? And this comes from an entry into a contest held during Captain Picard Day. And if you watch the episode Pegasus, you'll see that this one didn't actually win, but Commander Riker stole it. Or he was trying to steal it, but I think Counselor Troy made him put it back on the table, but it was hilarious. And it's just a cute little doll that one of the kids on the Enterprise made of Captain Picard. So it doesn't have any articulation, but it's cute nonetheless. So it just sits there and Riker can hold it and try to make off with it. So I really like this little accessory. All right, moving on. And full comparison, here you have the Super 7 Riker with the 2006 Diamond Select Art Asylum Riker. Now the Art Asylum is a little taller, but I think the modern Super 7 Riker hits the imaging a little better. It looks a little more like Jonathan Frakes in the character, even though this one's more realistic with the flesh tone. And the mold and sculpt is a little better here, and the articulation is somewhat better here, whereas it can bend a little more, but the Super 7 has hips that go out to the side. These legs can just go forward and backward. So there is a benefit to having a more modern, updated figure when it comes to articulation and sculpt and mold. All right, moving on. And full comparison with some other Super 7 properties, you have the Super 7 Leonardo, Super 7 Lion-O, the Super 7 G.I. Joe Duke. No, you did not miss a review. I'm still debating if I'm going to review these figures or not. And the Super 7 Optimus Prime. So they are very good in comparison size-wise. The humans do come up a little taller than the cats and the turtles, and obviously Optimus is not to scale, but he is bigger, fortunately. And I think Riker is a little taller than Duke. So, scale-wise, I don't know. Real people are taller than the cartoons, and the Transformers are always going to be bigger. So it looks like a pretty good group. All right, moving on. And for some comparisons that are not Super 7, here you have him with the Star Wars The Black Series Cobb Vanth, Diamond Select, the real Ghostbusters Peter Venkman, DC Essentials, which is essentially DC Multiverse Batman, and Marvel Legends Thor. So you can see, with the exception of the Cobb Vanth, which is a 6-inch figure, the other figures come in roughly the same height. If you have a larger Marvel Legend, that is. Most of the Marvel Legends are 6 inches, but with Thor here, he's a little taller, so he would fit with Riker a little better. So I think that's a really neat comparison group. All right, moving on. And this has been the Super 7 Star Trek The Next Generation Ultimates Commander Riker. And I was very impressed with this action figure, and I was hoping I would be. It has been a while since we've got anything in this caliber of Star Trek action figures. We do have the Playmates reissues last year, but they were just reissues of the figures that we got back in the day. So I think the Diamond Select Art Asylum Star Trek The Next Generation figures were the last, and that was in 2006. So it's been a while. So taking a look at Commander Riker, I thought his sculpt and mold were really good. You could obviously tell that it is Will Riker. The articulation is a bit limited, and that's kind of a bummer. He can't get a 90 in his elbow, and he can't get a 90 in his knee. I think the shirt cuffs come down too far and hinder the articulation in the hands. Same with the legs of the pants. They're a little far down, and it hinders the feet, so they can't be as articulate as I think they are. So that is kind of a bummer. I think his accessories were great. The phaser, definitely a must-have. The hand of poker cards was really great. The deck of cards, I don't really understand the ace of 10 diamonds, but that's okay. The Picard doll, very cute and fun accessory. Trombone, very good. I love it. Just don't ask him to play Nightbird on it. And he'll have fun with that. And the mute that goes with it. His alternate hands all seem to have a good purpose to them, and his alternate head was just fun. So I definitely think that this was a really good experience with the first figure from this new line, and I did pick up the rest of the wave, and I plan on getting the second wave. So we will be taking a look at more of these TNG guys, and hopefully the line picks up. A lot of people will pre-order it, and Super 7 will give us Deep Space Nine and Voyager and the original series and so on and so forth. But in any event, that is going to be Commander Riker. If you are looking for this guy, you can find him at your online retailers, and he will go anywhere between $55 to $60 depending on where you pick him up. So if you're looking for this guy, happy hunting. And that's going to be it, guys. That is the review. I hope you have a great night. And until next time, keep playing.